Here I come now, let's play hide and seek. Prepare to be caught. Here I come now, let's play hide and seek. Riding on the playground, no one dares to make a sound. Round and round and round and round, no one wants to be first found.
Good morning, everyone, and what a morning it is, because how he can get up into my comments, I have no idea. He's magic, apparently. And let's talk who this is I'm talking about. You guys probably already know. Let's say Jeff H, the guitarist. This is what he'd like to say about the fact that there was a major player at the King House on August 16th, in my opinion. You can hear his voice. You can hear him talking. You can hear him say, "Cops, cops, inside right now. Get inside right now." And everybody runs, including who I believe is Quinn. There's people with backpacks. They are at what I consider, what I believe, actually believe, truly, absolutely believe in my heart and my research, that this house is basically a hub. So you know how you have okay, so I used to work for UPS. I used to load trucks. And they have the hubs, right? Where all the trucks come in and they unload from all around into this one. They have all the specific packages that go to this area, and they unload them onto this conveyor belt. And there are people on either side of this conveyor belt, and they're working fast, and they're working freaking, I mean, it is the hardest work I've ever done in my life. And it tore me up. It ruined my body. That's what it did. And I was young. And it still ruined me. I got strong, but it ruined me too. So this was what I feel like this house is. It is the main hub. And there was more people there than you guys know that you actually see in this video. In the video, there's way more people. They're in the bushes where that tunnel thing, the under walkway thingy-majigger is over in the Queen apartments. They're over there in the bushes. And I had always wondered why I could see it moving over there. Like I could see like it was, you know how they blur the stuff out and it looks like it's moving like a mirage. Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors. That's what it was over there. That's what it was doing. And you can see someone and I didn't put this in here. Let me tell you why. Because some people can't see it. Some people will never see it. Some people see it right off the bat. Some people it takes a while. It took me a long time, over a year, to realize what I was seeing. And that's only because I looked at Linda Lane so much and at Banfield so much. And then I went back to this one and it blew my mind. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You guys, there's people everywhere. And I mean everywhere. They're standing, as they're walking up the road, you can see people standing on both sides of the road. You just have to look for it. You got to look for it really hard. You have to go back, put it in slow motion. You got to go back and forth. And I don't have the room on my phone to do that. I wish I did. I tried to get you as much as I could on this one, and this one was over a gigabyte. Like this one took forever to load up. It took tons. I had to delete so much stuff on my phone just to get this to you. And then, so you've got this hub there, right? Well, you've got what Embry claims, and quite possibly true. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt it. That this Farley, because I do believe that he's a big player in it, big time. But he's discounting a lot of the players in this freaking just horrendous thing that happened. He's discounting a lot of them. And he's steering our attentions away from the fraternities, which I'm wondering why he's doing that. Don't get me wrong. I like Embry. I like Embry I'm just wondering what the heck is going on. Why isn't he addressing other things? Maybe that's in his next and upcoming, 5-part series. I don't know. But he's not addressing it, and there's a reason he's not addressing it. Why isn't he addressing it? Why don't you guys ask that question? I know there's the Embry lovers out there, which is okay. I don't care. I think it's great that you guys have something to believe in, and that it's not finding Brian guilty. That makes me feel way better, because there was a lot of people that were leaning that direction until Embry came around. And so I actually have to thank him for that one, big time. And because he brought other stuff especially to my eyes, that I knew there was something else out there. And I knew that these characters, like I knew about the Farley, I knew about that, but I didn't know how to connect them yet until certain things happened. And I'd already connected a lot of the stuff. There was just a few things I needed just to bring it together. And obviously there's a few things he needed on his to bring his together, like the call about Farley in the video, the red car, the cars he talks about. There's a lot that he's gotten from my videos, and I'm glad someone's taken something from him. I really am. I'm glad. I just wish, here's what I wish he would do. I wish he would actually say that that's where he's getting these from. And I know for a fact he's got to be getting from just mine, because I'm the only one that's ever talked about it. For instance, Farley being connected to the Palouse River Drive trailer park. He's connected to that big time. And with James Curtis Leonard, I don't have a doubt in my mind. It's all my opinion, pure speculation, but I believe that with my heart of hearts. And so, and the reason I would prefer him to do that is because then up in my comments, when I put a video of what my findings were that he actually used in his video, which is, like I said, that's okay. I have no problem with that. It gets the word out there and more people know about it. But then I get these people up in my comments, well, Embry did this and Embry did that, and you should go over there. And I'm like, oh my God, of course he did. I've already seen it. I already know about it. But I didn't say anything about it because that's just who I am. But now I'm saying something about it. Because I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted answering stuff about Embry. I really am. So Embry, at least you could do, please, let people know where you got this stuff, because I know where you got the stuff. And, especially the vehicle. I mean, especially that vehicle. And because I put a video up with showing the park, like close to a year ago. I got on Google when I heard about the red cars and the R40 trailer, and I've got lots of great videos on that R40 trailer and the cars as I'm cruising through, and that's where those cars came from, because I revisited them after the fact, just looking back on my things, and I'm like, whoa. And that's when I recognized Farley's dad. Farley's dad was working on one of the cars, and he's in that trailer park. Now, Farley's dad is the one that passed away. Rest in peace. They called him Thumper. Thumper had some interesting stuff under his belt as well, from what I believe. Farley was a trucker. He did logging and he did long haul also. Lots of trucking companies around there. Lots of the big wigs. Lots of the construction companies. The things that we're talking about now that Veritas has brought to light also, with the construction and where Farley has worked, and quite frankly, probably his father has, brought, lumber to that area, to where the mills and the companies around there, where these construction workers bought their logs and their wood and their stuff to build the houses. There's a whole line, you guys. It's not just what Embry's bringing to our attention. Why isn't he bringing the rest of it to our attention? That's what I want to know. What's he hiding? Because Embry, in my opinion, is hiding something he does not want us to know about. And he's steering us way, way far away from the frats or anything else that any of us has been thinking. And for for you guys, the people out there who are like totally on board with him and like not even talking about the frats anymore, go back and revisit the Grub Truck. Go back and revisit Banfield. Go back and revisit all of it, because it's there. It's there, and it's not going to go away. It's documented. It is in the history now. It's in the history. It's in my history. And it's not going to go away. So hopefully he starts bringing the frats into it, because I'm bringing them in right now. Okay. All right. So this house on King Road has been a hub for a very long time, in my opinion. Way back when Perky lived there. They had a bunch of people that lived there that were 30 and 40 years old. And one of them consistently was getting in trouble for distributing the green stuff, the green leafy stuff. And that person's just popped up, and I was like, whoa, who's this guy? And then I realized that this person lived there. And this person not only lived there back when Perky lived there, but he also is listed as being there up until 2023. So that means, in my opinion, that the address that he was giving was still the 1122 King Road, just like Perky's is. Now you look Perky's up right now, and that's still his address. The house is gone. It's a chunk of property there, it belongs to somebody else, but it's still Scott Perky's address? Tell me that. Tell me about that one. Can someone explain that one to me? Please, someone explain that one to me, because I don't get it. Yeah, I am fired up right now. I'm really fired up. You got it. And then I get Jeff H up in my shit. I've been playing in bands since high school days, and police would often come say they received noise complaints. Okay, he was playing in band. What were you playing? The guitar, Jeff? Were you just jamming at the house over there? Or were you in a hub also? Were you like packing bricks in your guitar and going back to school and distributing them? Just a curious question. So they will often come say they received noise complaints. This is how we all act around police. We're respectful. Did you guys wear, Jeff, do you have bracelets that look like zip ties? I wonder if you have marks on your wrists and maybe your ankles. I don't know. You never know about people like you. Okay, we're respectful. We're just doing it. They're just doing a job. And if we were completely honest, we'd say, yes, we were quite loud and we apologize. We even had officers show up at a friend's house in Fairfax, Virginia, and just by chance, one of the officers had gone to college with my friend who owned the house. They allowed us to play our music for another hour or so. We had the drums, bass, and guitar out on his back patio jamming into the backyard. There's always one neighbor that just has to complain. Now, this next person, I don't know if that's who the J person, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm just here to read Jeff's. Now, Jeff, you and let's see. If I were to name the people that he's been up in their chats, in their videos, and given them money, because they say it right on air, on their live stuff, you would really begin to wonder who Jeff was, and you probably wouldn't let him up in your stuff ever again. Jeff, you try and you try and you try so hard to change my narrative. You've been doing it. You've been trying to do this forever, and you know you can't. It's not going to happen. These things that you're saying right here are just stupid, in my opinion. Your little guitar playing in your bands and has nothing to do with what's going on at this house right here. Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. And if you're saying that these police are respectful, then I would like to know if you have a daughter, if you would put them in the hands of these policemen right here. Would you allow your daughter to walk around Moscow, Idaho, hanging out with people at this house right here? I mean, you don't have to worry about her, right? Because the cops will show up and they'll protect her because they show up to noise complaints. So she should be safe, correct? I mean, she's right next door to the place where they had a video cam that has all sorts of really awful sounds and stuff on it. But you claim that it's not real. Would you be okay with your daughter hanging out on Linda Lane? How about over there at Banfield? How about going to the University of Idaho, Jeff? Now, if you can be honest, your answer should be No, you are not comfortable with it. But knowing Jeff, he will lie, just like he's not, it's like he doesn't necessarily lie. This might be a true thing for him right here. This might be in his memories, and this might be a true memory for him and a happening. But what he's not saying is what he's not saying, and he hasn't been saying since the get-go on here. Did you know that Jeff, I have asked him probably 100 times to make difference mode on Linda Lane? And you want to know what? Jeff won't do it. He says it won't work. Well, I'll tell you what, I know why Jeff doesn't do it. And that's because we'd see too much on there. So if there's any creator out there that can, it's through Adobe, whatever, it's a blending mode. It's blending mode on Adobe Pro or something like that. And it's one of the things you can click on, difference mode in blending mode. So if anybody can do that on Banfield, that would be just peachy. Because Jeff won't do it. Because he doesn't want us to see what's there. He doesn't want us to see. How come Jeff doesn't want us to see? Okay, he just did one for 12 gauge, right? He did a little blurb of this one thing on Linda Lane with the difference mode. He didn't do the part that he needs to do. He should do the whole thing on difference mode and let us see what's going on there. If he didn't have anything to hide, if he wasn't hiding something for somebody, who is Jeff hiding stuff for? Who's he working for? Because he's working for somebody, I bet you, in my opinion. So, this is the first time I've called anybody out like I have right here. Like, I don't typically do this. You guys know that. I don't like the drama. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. My whole life, I grew up with drama because of my family, and I'm done. I don't want it anymore. And so for you to come up in here knowing full well that I can't comment on your stuff because I've got you blocked, yet for some reason you can come up in here and see my stuff. How are you so special on YouTube, Jeff? Why can you do this? Everybody should be asking this question of Jeff H, the guitarist. Everybody. Because there's something wrong with that. There really is. You know, he can't answer a question. I have asked, he just pussyfoots around everything. Pussyfoots around it. So this house right here, this house that he's underneath this comment in, he's attached himself to this house now, in my opinion. And he knows what this house is, but he's not saying. This house is a hub. They go there because there was something delivered there, whether it be through mail, whether it be through Farley, whether it be through Robinson, or Bailey, or who the heck ever, Rhodes, who knows, Burris, don't know. Shoot, for all we know, it could be one of the Canes. I mean, he is quite busy over there, and he looks like a madman these days, in my opinion. How come he's so mad? You know, he had a huge part in that house and those properties being sold over there. And I think he still has one under his belt. He didn't get rid of all of them. And not only that, but how come he got to sign off his management company on the things that were remodeled in that house, the permits they got? One of them. There was 3 that I could see, and I'm sure there's more. Maybe and maybe not. I don't know. But they are to remodel the bathrooms and the kitchen. Okay. My first initial thought went to, you guys know, cameras, wiring for sound. And if that's the case, if that's the bathrooms, then that is some sick stuff. If they're putting cameras and they're wiring those bathrooms for sound and video and audio, oh my God. No wonder Kayla got the hell out of Dodge. And no wonder they ripped off the front of that house like they did without us being able to see. No wonder they did everything and buried that house. They went in and stripped all that stuff out of there before we even could see it. They painted walls so we couldn't see anything. They took out beams, in my opinion, to where that house would implode into itself because it didn't have the support. That's why they had that fencing around there, because that house was dangerous. They went in there and they stripped that house clean. They took all the appliances out. They took the wiring out so they had, they could go get money from the copper. They took wiring out to hide what was in there, in my opinion. They took, they redistributed the appliances to other student housing that's there, I'm sure. Reused the bathtub, the toilets, whatever. That was all gone. That wasn't in there. That's why it came down like it did, you guys. It was a stick house. That's all it was a little stick house with popsicle sticks now. No beams inside because they cut them out or they cut through them to where they would just fall down because they didn't have support from each other on either side. That house was a doll house at the point when they took it down. That's why it looked like it did. That's why it sounded like it did. That should never have sounded like that. I have a friend in demolition, and that's not how it sounds. That's not how it looks. No, it's not how it is. Yeah, I'm hot under the collar so much right now. And I don't like to feel this way. In fact, I try not to get myself to feel this way. And right now, my whole insides are shaking. They're lying to a world. They're lying to the world. And Jeff, you're included in that, in my opinion. I'm just going to say it right out. Jeff, I think you're a liar. And I think you're covering something up. And your life isn't all so peachy keen. Because if it were, well, how could it be? Lies like this cause distress in the body. You probably, I can imagine Jeff probably has bowel problems. He probably has stomach problems. Maybe he even gets headaches. I don't know. But with that type of stuff that he's keeping in his body and that those toxins from the lies he's telling, in my opinion, pure speculation, then he's got some body issues. He's got some inside issues. His innards aren't working very well. Yeah. I can pretty much guarantee that, unless he's so diabolical with the stuff that, the lies and stuff that by diabolical, I mean like narcissistic, sociopath, because if you guys know anybody who's a narcissist, they can fall asleep faster than anybody you've ever seen in your life. Their head hits the pillow and they are out like a light. And the reason for that is that they don't worry. They don't worry. So when they go to bed at night and they lay their head down, they have no worries in their head. And they just go to sleep. And most of the time, narcissists don't dream. Did you know that? They will fall asleep and it'll be like they wake up and it'll be like they just laid down when they've slept 8 hours. Because they don't need energy. I mean, they got to get their energy that way as well. But that's not where they get most of their energy. They get most of their energy by doing what Jeff's doing to me right here. What Jeff's doing to all of you. That's how he gets his energy. In fact, right now, I am pumping Jeff so full of energy right now. And this is the part that I dislike me doing this for. And this is why I don't do this, because I don't want to give him my good energy. Now, even though I'm all riled up inside, to Jeff, it's good energy, because narcissists and these type of people they'll take any type of energy. They'll take good or bad, but they prefer the bad because they know that they're messing with you and that you are giving up all your energy at this point in time the way I'm doing right now, which I will stop. I will stop because I'm not going to let him do this to me. But I had to get this out. Yeah. Every time I look at his name, I think of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I think of that song. I think of Crossroads, where the devil, you sold your soul to the devil. That is how I feel about this guy right here. Yep. Okay. Here's another little piece to the video. This is pause on my video that I just made, because I want you guys to notice things that I did not put in the other video because it was already at 1 gigabyte and it was horrendous to load up at that amount of room on there. Ugh. It took hours. So as they're walking up here, I want you to be aware that they're talking on a different channel. They're talking on a department channel. So basically, they're talking on a channel that's what I believe is not hitting the scanners. Like it's some type of channel that is just theirs, or something like that is what it feels like to me. Now I want you to watch their shadows and their arm movements. Casey's pointing up at the King house. He's pointing to the back or in between, because mind you, they just walked past from the other frat house, right? They walked there and they just mentioned the guy walking in between the houses. Well, guess what? The guy probably is wearing a backpack, and he's probably heading over to the frat house where they were just at to deliver the goods that those guys were waiting for. Why do you think they were sitting on top of that house, looking in the direction of the King? Why do you think those frat boys were getting a little weird up inside when Casey kept looking over at the King house with his can? You could see his body moving that way, and the boys would start looking over that way. And then they all were like laughing. Sometimes it was a nervous laugh. Other times it was okay laugh, because you know what? They know the drill. They know the drill. And that drill, could that drill be paying off the cops? Because in order for them not to get tickets and go about their business, what they were doing there, they got to know the drill. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. You know the drill. Right, boys? You know the drill. I mean, they have meetings just on this. I mean, it shows it in the police reports. It doesn't tell what it is, but I'll bet you anything that's what this is. They got meetings talking about this stuff. Pretty sick, isn't it? So as they're walking up here, you're going to hear them talk about a different channel that they're on. There's people standing in between cars up here. I see 3 of them right now. A couple of them off to your right. And there's one in the bushes behind the one on the left in the walkway. There's one walking down that walkway between the Taylor and the other place where, you know, the Taylor Apartments ends up, where the Banfield place where the cops were that night. Hi, little girl. And further up the road, there's people. There's one standing right out there that's right by that big tree that's past that house, that 1112 or 8, or no, that's the 1112, I think. Just a minute, baby girl. And here, go up there. Ouch. So they're up in the trees. Like there's one standing on the roof on the Queen apartment roof. There's someone standing on the roof. And I believe there's 2 people standing on the house, on the 1122 King house. And I believe there's someone on the deck too. But you got to really, really, really look for it. It took me hours to even see those. I just had my magnifying glass out just now looking to double check it. But you can see the bushes up there moving where that big tree is up ahead on the right-hand side. And that's because they're moving in underneath that walkway at the Queen Apartments. They're moving back and forth in there. They probably have cars on the other side parked in that parking lot, or they're just cruising over to Linda Lane and then right on over to Blake, which is another off-campus frat house with a frat whole big old community. I am upset right now. Yeah, I am. And then you got Deacon, and then you got it all there. This is a business, and this is a big business. And they, in my opinion, are all making money. Their hands are all in each other's pockets. And when something was going down to where it was going to blow this out of the water, something had to be done. And something was done. You're going to hear Demetrius, and it is Demetrius's voice. And if I have to prove it, I will find someone to do soundtrack for me and prove it, but I don't think I have to. I think you guys know his voice well enough by now. If not, I shall. You know what? I'll have to link the video of him being arrested up in here in the description and in the first comment. I know sometimes I forget to do that. Just please remind me. I know I'm terrible about that. I know, little girl says, uh-huh. Okay, so I'm going to actually get her out of here first because she's making all sorts of noise. I got to put her out in the catio. It's going to be a nice day for a change, so give me a moment. So, how this seems to be working is that Hunter's definitely not an innocent person in any of this. In fact, he might be just very far from innocent. Because if he's the one answering the door and Demetrius is in there, wherever he's at, in which room, because you can hear hollering going on in there, you just can't make out what it's saying. And by it, I mean the monster. He's yelling at someone. And quite frankly, it looks like it's Hunter by the look on his face. He's being scolded. He's being reprimanded. He's being something. And Kaylee also. As she comes out the door, her face is like she's sweaty. She just got into this house, right? So whatever went on, whatever they got into when they got into that house, probably not knowing what, or knowing, I don't know. I have no idea. But that house was their demise, in my opinion. And that house is why the girls prior to this got the heck out of Dodge. That's why they just left their room as being still rented out, still on a lease, and paying for it, yet not being there. Because they knew there's something going on here that was going down. They knew. And they left. They left. That's not normal. Not only did they leave, but they all beefed up and got really strong and started pumping iron too. I wonder why. Did they need to beat somebody up? Did they need to protect themselves against somebody? Seemed interesting that a whole house full of girls all of a sudden got very interested in pumping iron. And that nobody's talking. Someone's scared. And I don't mean someone as in one. I'm talking a whole bunch of people. And they're not talking because there's a lot of hands. And there's a lot of pockets. And there's a lot of people wearing purple. You know that royalty color? And that purple has got crimson all over it. Because there was some shedding going on in this house. And I'm not talking skin cells. I'm talking some serious crimson. And it was on all their hands. Every last one of them has at least a drop on their hands. Because see something, say something. Nobody said a word. And look what happened. I'm wondering if Kaylee is the one that went to the hospital. Because as of right now, the internet pretty much is scrubbed of all Maddie's information, her back information, all of Ethan's, all of Xana's. But Kaylee's still around. Is Kaylee the one that went to the hospital that night? Is that who the cops are saying we got her? You can see her? Is that Kaylee? And if so, where is Kaylee? From what I've seen and my research I found, and with the help of with quite a couple of pretty special people, Kaylee's is a lot different than everybody else's. A lot different. How come? How come? Now, I don't know who controls Demetrius, but it looks to me, from the body cams I've seen of him being arrested, all that stuff, it looks to be that the cops, that he either controls the cops in a way and they control him. It's like this kind of a mutual thing, because he should be in prison. He should have been in prison a long time ago, but he's not. Does he have anything to do with, has this family got anything to do with the Robinson Park Road? I'm curious. Because off Robinson Park Road is some very interesting stuff. In fact, there's a coordinate that's off of Robinson Park Road. A coordinate to where they say the weapon is. And this coordinate is on a piece of property that's connected to the Beckers. And to the Farleys. And to the Rhodes. And if it's connected to them, then it's connected to some construction companies, to some insurance companies, to some real estate companies, to development companies, to freaking churches of all denominations. It's connected to, let me just say it, a town. A town called Moscow. And beyond, because they're not all just there in that little town. This has fingers and this has veins. This has tunnels. It just doesn't have the names that we want to hear yet, does it? Well, they're coming out. But they won't all come out. And they will still be protected. Mark my words. And that these aren't the only deaths that are going to happen. It's going to start tumbling. It's going to start caving in. It's going to be like dominoes. And it's going to be, and we're probably not going to know half of it. We're not going to know, we don't know half of it now. You know that there's so many kids out there that have lost their lives that we don't know a thing about, because we've been lied to about how they lost their lives to keep the university on good standings in the, whatever you call it, the books. And then you've got the university. You've got the Phoenix stuff going down, right? Yeah. That one right there. God dang, man. I'm telling you what. If that isn't just perfect timing right now with what's going on in Phoenix, all over Arizona, all these busts and just all this stuff happening, they're cleaning. They're literally gutting and cleaning out and evacuating whole hotels. Entire hotels that have been doing these businesses, right down to trafficking that they know about. They have been undercover with these places for some of them. I think one of them was up to 10, 15 years. Oh, we just didn't have enough to get it on them. We didn't have enough to get on them. We didn't have enough to get. Oh, really? 10 to 15 years you've been undercover trying to get this place busted? Meanwhile, you've got underage girls walking up and down the strip in front of this hotel, and there's illicit there's so much going on in that hotel. Anyway, it's evacuated now, but it's right there, right in Phoenix. I wonder how, who's taking care of that down there? Who's pushing those papers to get stuff done down there? Because I'm telling you, there are some big wigs up in Moscow. And I'm telling you, some big wigs. We're talking, I've never seen so many millionaires and billionaires in one place. Yeah. And so many really interesting buildings worth these buildings they're listed as 20 million and up. This place is scary. God help anybody who's there. To be continued. Have a great day. Watch your back, you guys. You don't have to watch it because of me, because I'm not the one doing anything. But there's some people up in here that are definitely up in here for a reason, trying to change narratives and sway people's brains and minds and their thinking and their actual out-of-the-box thinking for a change. If this is a case that you need to step out of the box, or any case that you need to step out of the box, this is it right here. This is the one that you need to realize what's going on in society, what's going on with the government, what's going on with the people in these towns that run these towns, and how this really works. Who rubs who's back and who gets what. And when the rubbing stops, the help stops. It is diabolical. And they got it. They've got your kids. They've got your kids. Hello. They've got your kids. And you don't think if they've got your kids that your kids aren't going to turn into what they turned into? Because it's just easier when you live there? Wow. Pull your cotton picking head out. Please. Because it's got to be dark up in there, man. And it probably don't smell too good either. Just pull it out and get the hell out. Hey, Jeff. Was this happening at your band house? Did you have zip ties on your wrists? Did you have a well-known rug dealer hanging out at your house telling you to hide because the cops are here? Or did you guys stay out on the deck and have your instruments out and didn't have to worry about a thing? Because you weren't doing anything. Right? Let's play something that I've seen, like they play it on Romper Room, they play it on Sesame Street, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, which one doesn't belong? It's an easy one on here. Jeff H doesn't belong. Because Jeff H never did anything like this, right? You're not seeing the whole picture, or you are seeing the whole picture and trying to stray us away from the whole picture. But you're not gonna sway me. So stop trying. You haven't yet, and you won't. You've tried, and you've tried, and you've tried, and you've tried, and you've tried. Boy, have you tried. And boy, have you lost. Because you know what? I'm my own person. And I have a brain of my own. And I don't think because other people tell me to think a certain way. I don't do that. So, for those of you new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to being an individual and thinking your own thoughts and not letting someone else persuade you what you should be thinking and putting things in your head that aren't there, that shouldn't be there, because it's your thoughts. Jeff's got his own thoughts. He's got his own. He needs to stay in his lane and stop trying to sway mine. Although it is kind of funny. So I want you to listen to what's going on up here. And can you imagine? And I want you to picture Jeff. I want you to picture Jeff being Hunter. Coming out of that back door with zip ties on his wrists. Okay? Can we all do that? I might even attach his head to one of those images. In fact, that would be quite fun. I might do that. Even the categories.
I'm still on the department channel. Moscow 111.
I wonder what that means about apartment channel.
We're clear of 1127 King.
Okay, do you guys just hear that? They aren't even, well, they just rounded the corner to where they can see him. Because if you look over to your right, you can see, the guys in the window up in the King house, right? And if you look up ahead, straight up the road, you see all the shoes hanging on the line, right? Right in front of the King house. Those are all those shoes hanging there. Now that has many, many, many different reasons. One reason is it's for kids that have graduated. Sometimes they'll hang their shoes on the line like that. If there's races like 5Ks or, like races like that, sometimes they will, if they make it through to the end. Sometimes they'll hang their shoes on there, depending. There's things that they do this for that aren't nefarious, but most of the time it's nefarious. And it means that's where there's a house at that you can get stuff. And it also means death. That's another thing it means. If shoes are hanging outside of a house, it will mean that someone is going to or has passed there. Now, if you continue to look straight up, right where the Queen apartments are, where that big tree is, not the big tree by the King house, but the one right, up from that one, you're going to see what looks to be a person on the roof of that apartment building. In fact, there might even be two. And also, you can see one at the King house, on the top floor. There's a white dot thing right there. That is a person. There's also one. Oh, you can see them everywhere. They're down by the trees, over there underneath that tree. A little ways up, you'll be able to see one on your left-hand side by the tree that's going down in between the Taylor apartments. But if you could keep looking straight up, right by the Queen places, and you see there's a white dot. There's a person walking right there. They're wearing white. And then off to our right, there's a white spot. That's a person walking into that underground tunnel area underneath that floor 2 of the Queen apartments. Now, I also want you to notice the car that's parked in the parking lot of the King house. What does that look like to you? Let me show you. This car right there. That white one right there. There's someone in that car. There's someone on that roof. Quite possibly, that might be a drone flying above the Queen place. Because this is a big business, you guys. This isn't any teeny little whole bunk town doing this. Everybody's hands is in this. Everybody's got their hand in it. There's people walking up here, people walking underneath over there, people up the steps. You can see someone at the top of the steps by the Queen house, by the Queen apartments. There's someone in that white car. Actually, there's someone in this black truck as you walk by too. Now, you can't see it, but right up here in between this, there's a person walking down away from the cops right there. And there's also a person up by the dumpster up here. But there's people walking around all over in here. They're everywhere. And we actually just passed some that were standing in between these cars right here too. Okay, here we go. Trip through the neighborhood. Now, already, they have been seen. And they know the cops are headed that way. And it could very well be the guys from the frat party next door that they were at. They hollered and told the cops, "Hey, the cops are here. Come on, Guido, put your stuff away." Yeah.
Road. We're going to be out at 1122 Queen Road. Same problem. 7 King Road. We're going to be out at 1122 Queen Road. Same problem.
So that hollering that you just heard, I bet you that is the guys at the house they were just at. They were just warning these guys up here that the cops were coming up here. Although I do believe that Rosendall knows exactly what's going on up here, because there's stuff going on right now up here. So this video that I was playing right here, I played it from another one of my videos. So when I just said that right there, that was because that's what I thought before. This time when I listened to it, that's Demetrius. You know what? Maybe I should go find one of my other videos and pop. I'm going to do a side-by-side sound thing, I think. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it. Okay. Now, any cop who's had any training whatsoever in, this type of nefarious stuff going on, they wouldn't just walk around the side of the house. I mean, there's transactions going on out the window directly in front of them. If we could hear these people shouting that there's cops there and to get in the house, they can hear it. Hands down. And not only that, But see, this video, they're walking in real life. They're seeing all the things that's going on around them. We're having to spot them because this has been scrubbed. So they're seeing all of this. How come they're not doing anything about it? How come they lied and said that they knocked on the front door when they didn't? There was a big chunk of that video missing, that body cam that they took out. They didn't want us to see. And that's why I had to, that last track, man, it was hard to get that thing situated. I was all so confused. And it wasn't right, but it was better than it was. Anyway, I wish someone could just totally separate the voices that were what they were talking about in the house, because, man, there's something going on in there, and I don't know what it is. And here's the thing, is the person that's yelling about it doesn't give a rat's ass about the cops hearing. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because, why? Class, come on, pay attention now, class, pay attention. He doesn't care because of why? Teacher, because the cops don't care? Yes, you got it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's right. Gold star for me. I don't know. Do my teachers sound like that? I have no idea. I have no idea where I get these voices sometimes. Oh my gosh. I literally just woke up and started recording. I'm like, ah. Oh, Lordy. You gotta miss Molly. Yeah. And look at Rosendall. Oh, he's a beating it up there, isn't he? Just like he did at the frat house. He got there before Green did, right? He got something to say. Why is he so adamant about getting there so quick? Why is he doing this? I mean, the guy's new to the force. He's only been there since, this is August. He was there since the December of 2021. And before that, guess where he was? Well, let's see, with a little college town, a little university town up by the Canadian border. Western Washington University, I must say, in Bellingham. I believe he's only there for about 1.5 years. So I wonder what he did to get himself gone. I don't know. Could it be stalking, harassing students, nefarious dealings with the students? I don't know. And that's all speculation. It's all just me thinking out loud. And right in the middle of Stickergate, they haven't even won their settlement of $300,000 yet. The Christchurch hasn't. But there you have it. Oh, Rosendall. Busting a move, man. Getting up on that house. Born and bred in that church. His pappy and his mammy, they do missionary work. They go and get people and they bring them back for the church. Usually it's, I don't know which country they come from, but they're like the people that are really super dark skinned, like really dark, like very dark, like almost like it's a very beautiful color. It's almost like it's got a blue base or a purple base to it. It's really interesting. And that would be the Yenas, the Gabriels, the people up in the the roommates of Kopacka, allegedly. Got some more Kopacka stuff for you too, by the way. But they're very, very dark-skinned. And those were the roommates, the one, Yena, allegedly, of Kopacka. Same with Baker. We all know about him by this time now, right? If not, just let me know. I'll give you some stuff on him. So I'm just now listening to some more body cams of Kopacka. Boy, howdy. Boy, oh boy, you guys are going to love this. The guy that's driving the red car that Jordan gets into, he calls him his pastor. His pastor. At that point in time, when he gave that police report, after the fact on his TikToks, he's telling people that he was in a cult called the Church of Christ. Not Christ Church, but Church Christ. Same thing. He's just flipping the words. He also said he's in a cult called Amway. But the guy that he went to see and shook his hands and talked to him about this little deal, his name was Samir. Samir recently got out of prison around that time back then for some nefarious stuff with EOS Shield. He was an owner of one of the actual, because I think they're like is it the corporate where they each buy like every state can have a different EOS Shield. Like there could be really good EOS Shields, right? There could be towns where they're really great and they do what they're supposed to and they use the product like they're supposed to and all that kind of stuff. But then you've got the ones that don't. And if you have not experienced that, oh boy, that's an interesting experience. That happened once to me when I was at this business I was at, and we had this guy came around with a spray. And this spray, when he sprayed it on, I mean, it smelled so good. It almost smelled like kind of like a baby powder smell, which I can't handle smells. And so I'm very, like, I don't do bleach or I don't do any those strong smells. I can't handle. So the smell, I was like, wow, this is cool. And it just cleaned, it was amazing. Well, the boss that was there that day, my boss, he bought a case of it. Guy brought the case in and he left. We pull it out to use it immediately. But at this point, the guy's gone, right? We spray it on, it doesn't do shit. Doesn't have a smell to it, nothing. It was filled with water. Yeah, we got taken, or he got taken, not me. But anyway, that's kind of like the different entities of EOS Shield, the different separate branches off of it. And some of them, I believe, are total umbrellas. Like they're just undercover for like other stuff, like laundering, for rugs, for trafficking possibly. I don't know. But there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And that is why I have been adamant about popping EOS Shield up every chance I get and talking about it. But no one wants to talk about it. How come? How come no one wants to talk about EOS Shield? That's where Kaylee was going to go work. You know damn straight there's something to do with it here. But nobody wants to talk about it. Why? It's wrapped all around the frats. It's part of this whole thing. It's a huge part of this whole thing. Do you know they're all learning to be pilots? They're all learning how to fly. Why? They go travel all over. They're never working. They're always in a different country doing something. So now we go back to the missionaries bringing over these other guys. And get this. You know, Joe Vito, you know, he was like, you know, whatever the hell he does. He's a church guy. He plays music for churches. He's pretty good at playing. He's got a good voice and everything else. But he's with the church, and he got a job at the university that January after 2023, after this whole thing right here. He got a job at the university, and guess what classes he was in charge of? I don't know what he did, because for the life of me, I can't figure out what it was. But the people he had in his class were none other than Gabriel, who came out of the door from the allegedly Kopacka's apartment. He was the guy with the dog, and Yenna. They're both, and amongst several other people there, but those two were definitely students in his classroom. Why was Vito in charge of that classroom? And what did he do in that classroom? He's not there anymore. He's back in Eastern Washington, you know, where the Katoviches have their properties and all that kind of stuff, where allegedly Vito was all up in the Columbia University there teaching. And I mean, the guy has got a resume a mile long, yet every one of his LLCs have never been there. You can't find them. They're not there. They're non-existent. The businesses he lists in his thing that he does are non-existent. People who say that Joe's, he's just Joe, whatever. No. Joe's not just Joe. Mark my words. Joe's not just Joe. Let's watch them all run. Actually, they don't run. They saunter. They act like no big deal, the cops are here. Why? Because they're not afraid of the cops. Because they knew the cops would be here. Because maybe they have a package for them. Maybe they got to pay them for their protection. You know, as part of the deal. Like, you know, in the freaking streets of New York. Remember back in the day when every business had to have you had to pay somebody to even have a business there because how they worked, the mafia or whatever it was. I mean, I don't know too much about that, but I do know, I've seen the movies and I've read the history stuff on it. Sounds a lot like what's going on here. Sounds a lot like it. Just watch how Rosendall walks directly back around the house up to the back patio. He does not stop. He really doesn't even look up at the other guys there. He pretty much keeps his head down. He might glance over there. But boy, howdy, is Nathan on a dead run. Or a dead sprint, or whatever. I shouldn't say dead, but anyway. It's there in the video now. He is on a mission. And he thinks he is the cat's meow, the way he acts. And his whistles are about as creepy as they get. And someone in the comments said it was, I can't remember what song they said, but man, it creeped me out. So thank you for letting me know what song that was. That is just, oh my God. I'll have to go in the comments. Hopefully I remember and I have enough room. So anyway, oh, got an itch on I scraped my arm, my wrist the other day, and now it's healing up and it itches. Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, can you send someone out who lives here, please?
Why didn't they think that one of those people was the one that lived there? How did they know that one of these people wasn't the one that lived there? He said, can you send somebody out that lives here? How does he know these aren't people that live there? I'll tell you why he knows. Because he's in on it. How else would he not? Would he know? Or not know, whatever. Ethan's Jeep's over there. Dana's car. What is that one? Is that an Idaho plate? Maybe it is.
Looking for one with the Xander dash.
Nope. Sorry, you can always call us later and ask in case it gets turned in here. It's our business line.
Sweet, thank you.
You bet.
Person in car. Sorry, I ate an almond. Now watch this. Watch how close Rosendall is up here talking to Hunter.
No one's coming to the door.
He didn't even knock.
We'll knock at the front door and open it. All right, be right back. Yep, thanks, man. Yeah, I took one look at that speaker. I said,
What's he pointing at? The speaker? See, look. The guys are... It looks like there's people right here in the backyard over here, too. That looks like the person right there. And the people are still over there hanging out. Probably inside doing their thing now. Because they were just got a delivery, in my opinion. Okay, I'm going to cut this video short. Actually, it's not short, but anyway, I got to make sure I got enough room. So, love y'all. Okay, I will talk to y'all later. Okay, here's that comment. Lady Speedwell, thank you. While Rosendall waits for Kaylee, he's whistling, boys and girls come out to play. Creepy. That is freaking scary, you guys. Okay, I'm going to go look that up right now. So, I looked up the song, the meaning of boys and girls come out to play, because when I heard it, and I put Rosendall in that situation where he's whistling in that version of the song. And thanks to my sub for putting that in there. That's just crazy. I can't believe you did that. Man, you got my head just spinning in circles right now. Anyway, so my first initial thought was boys and girls come out to play. And I mean, they're talking about ladders. They're talking about sneaking out of the house and not eating dinner before they go out the house. And playing underneath in the moon under the shroud of dark, you know. My immediate thought was nefarious stuff like what was going on at the house. But it also made me think of trafficking. Like they're trying to lure little boys and girls away. Yeah. So basically working. Basically trafficking. They're working, right? Selling whatever the people have them selling. That's scary, you guys. That's really scary. Boys and girls come out to play. Folklore Thursday. I'm going to read it to you. It says, the old English 18th century nursery rhyme, Boys and Girls Come Out to Play, warns of the dangers of fairies luring children out of their beds. Boys and girls come out to play. The moon doth shine as bright all day as day. Leave your supper, leave your sleep, and come with your playfulness into the streets. Or your playfellows into the streets. Come with a whoop, come with a call. Come with goodwill or not at all. Up the ladder and down the wall. A halfpenny loaf will cover. Will serve us all. You find milk and I'll find flour and we'll have a pudding in half an hour. Now it's possible that children might sing such a rhyme to ask their playmates to come and play and join them outside, but there's something slightly sinister about this jaunty ditty. It's far more likely that this nursery rhyme is a warning against leaving the safety of your bed. Night was a time of the witches, fairies, and evil spirits. The moon in particular was seen as intensifying the powers of the werewolves. The poem is a siren call to children to leave the safety of their homes and come out to play with their enticing, magical playmates with the promise of a fairy pudding. But, as any child who knows their fairy tales can tell you, fairies... so, hold on. I'm like, what? Tell you, fairies' time passes at a complete different rate to normal time. One night spent playing with your new friends, and you have come home only to find that everyone you had known died of old age. Oh my God, that's crazy. That's scary, you guys. Oh, that made me scared. I don't like this. I don't like this song. The history of girls and boys come out to play. September 6th. Look at that. September 6th. September 16th is when we're talking about the song being whistled. Creepy. Yeah, Mother Goose nursery rhymes. Mother Goose was a meanie. Like some nursery rhymes, Girls and Boys Come Out to Play has a long and somewhat dark history. The nursery rhyme has been traced back all the way to 1708. It is believed through the context of a second line in the nursery rhyme, the moon doth shine as bright as day, that this is referring to a time when children worked during the day and playing was reserved for the nighttime. While somewhat dark, as children were often underpaid and working in hazardous conditions, the children's song is a symbol of hope that helped youth persevere through trying times. The first verse of the nursery rhyme was first recorded in the early to mid-18th century. It wasn't until 1744, when Tommy Thumb's Pretty Song book was released, that the nursery rhyme was expanded on. And in the mid-19th century, the rhyme as we know it today was recorded by Shakespearean scholar James Orchard Halliwell Phillips. During the 1800s, this popular children's song was featured in slightly varying versions in English literature and arts. Walter Crane used the first 8 lines in the baby's opera, The Book of Old Nursery Rhymes, New Dresses. Interestingly enough, some variations of the song start with boys come out to play, likely due to traditionally speaking the role of women and girls at the time. Throughout the history of the children's song, like most nursery rhymes, the different versions were adapted with the times. In 1916, The Real Mother Goose by Blanche Fisher Wright featured the full version of the song with the adaptation Boys and Girls Come Out to Play. This was somewhat this was somewhat symbolic as women's rights were prominent during these times. The lengthy history of nursery rhymes often comes with mysterious places, but the purpose of them remains the same today. They are used as a meaning of teaching and comforting children. Well, hell, that didn't comfort me at all, and I'm not even a kid. Man, that's crazy. Wow, that's scary. You know, him singing the song like that, or whistling the song, and obviously knows this rhyme, because it really kind of fits with what, the house is. Like when Payne cruises up to the house and he says, tell whoever works here to come out. Who lives here to come out. Was it a working house, and did they know it? Because this right here, going up and whistling this tune, would signify to me, that this is what they were talking about. They were working young adults, and the cops knew it. That's just nuts. So totally nuts.